Catherine, are you going to want to sit?
Yes.
Do you want me to leave that for you to sit on?
I was just about to ask Vanessa if there's
Let's just, I'm going to slide it back a little bit. Is that a good spot? Don't look. If she's sitting here, is that okay? We'll find out eventually. They're just checking cameras. You guys enjoy that? Good stuff, huh? He's also pretty good at Mario Kart, I got to tell you. If you can take him on later. Yesterday we talked about Among Us. Nobody knew what I was talking about. Mario Kart, you people know. Among Us, you don't. You good? Okay.
My kids know Among Us.
Oh. Then you know Among Us.
No, I don't.
How do you not know what your kids are doing online, ma'am?
Don't let them. My friends want to.
They know of it then. They don't know Among Us. Okay. There's an imposter among us. Yeah, see, thank you. The one person in here who actually knows what I'm talking about. All right, so Catherine really doesn't need much of an introduction. I'm going to do it anyways. She's amazing. Catherine Bonandin has been, I'm going to read to you what it says here, moving and shaking in the liberty movement since the Ron Paul 2008 campaign. How many of you have been a part of this since that long, huh? It's been a long time. She was a delegate to the RNC, and she learned very quickly that the system is rigged. The realization led her to state, city, and eventually police accountability and cryptocurrency activism. She's been banned from multiple Bitcoin meetups for promoting altcoins before the crypto economy had expanded so greatly, and tested the Bitcoin infrastructure as an early adopter traveling the U.S. coast to coast, border to border, using Bitcoin only. This is what we call a real one right here, a real one. Her journey into motherhood taught her that freedom is not something you can demand from others. It's something that comes from within. She is the founding mother of the Homestead Guru, a collective of alternative lifestyle storytellers. Catherine is a 500-hour certified yoga teacher and enjoys planning transformational experiences for like-minded friends and family, because she is also this year's producer of Anarchapulco and has been involved in the event since February of 2018, when she taught people about something called unschooling. Once again, this is a real one. Catherine Boudin.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? All right. See if I can balance here. Maybe can someone bring something I can set this on? That would be.
Your feet on this.
Oh, feet,
That'll
and
balance
here we
you.
go. Yeah.
Hold on, let me get it closer so I don't pull you off.
It's my yoga core there. Great, thank you. I'm so grateful y'all are here today. Seriously, thank you. I want to talk about authentic anarchy today. And so to be fully authentic, I wasn't feeling very good today. I went a little hard yesterday. I wasn't expecting Jeff to sell hundreds of virtual tickets in the days leading up to our event, so we were not prepared with technical support, and I was doing all of it and managing this event at the same time, and I was chugging water. And earlier today, my hands and feet started tingling, and I started to feel like something was wrong, so I went to the doctor. And I'm just going to tell you all this because you're all down here in the heat and some of you came from the cold. Don't drink only straight water. You actually strip your body of electrolytes, and that's why my hands and feet were tingling. And so I drank some electrolyte drinks. Normally I don't do like the Gatorade stuff, but I did for a quick fixer-upper. So just a little hat tip here. Coconut water. Lemon water. Those shots you get in the morning, the ginger and honey. Make sure you're keeping your electrolytes up. So I learned the hard way today. I get to be an example of what not to do. Don't chug water. I also found out that that's how you can actually drown yourself. Like marathon runners who chug water after a marathon end up dead, so be aware. Don't drink just straight water. So that's my authenticness for today. I was feeling a little off, and I'm just going to put that out there right now. But I'm feeling better. And I feel really well supported. And I want to say thank you to everybody here who has been keeping their eye on me, telling me to sit down, to slow down, and to drink water. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our amazing team, Luigi, Macy, everybody working in the background, because I was able to leave and no one knew. And the show went on and it was great. So I know we have an amazing team. So big applause. Thank you guys. And I want to say thank you to everyone on the virtual feed. I know yesterday was a rough day. The internet went down, but it's back up and running. And I want to give a special shout out to my husband and my 2 children at Float Fest in Texas. So hi, guys. I love you. Apparently, my son is working for some vendors at Float Fest and going around hustling. He's always trying to make more Bitcoin. He's a crypto kid through and through. Total crypto boy. I love you guys. So, okay. Authentic anarchy. I've noticed over the years that there's a lot of people who are good at talking the talk. Have you noticed this? Yeah? Talking the talk, it's not that hard, right? You read a couple books, you learn a couple things, you get a couple ideas, you start moving your mouth. But how frequently do you meet people who are actually walking the walk? Here? Are there any other environments where you meet people who are walking the walk? Here? That's it? It's the only one I'm hearing? Probably Float Fest, some of the other meetups that are taking place. I know we have a great voluntarist community in the Austin area, but it's hard to find even within our own movement, right? Because still there's okay, I understand the philosophy, but how do you then get your lifestyle into alignment with that? And honestly, that can be really hard. It can be really, really hard. Even early on in the Bitcoin movement, like Ben mentioned, my family and I, we were disallowed to go to 2 Bitcoin meetups because we were promoting Dash and Ethereum, right? Now everybody knows what Dash and Ethereum is, and if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you might be kind of stuck behind the times, right? So even within our own movement, you're trying to take a step forward and people are like, no, you're not doing it right, comply with my way, and there's shaming and fighting and infighting, and I feel like we're starting to move out of that a little bit. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel like we're growing a little bit? I see heads shaking yes. Does anyone feel like we're still stuck in this conflict zone? A little bit? Yeah, and that's okay. Right? We're all learning and growing. It's not an easy journey. We all have grown up in the same trauma-based society. And I know many of us are here from different countries across the world. How many people are from the United States, born and raised in the United States? All right, about a little more than half. How many are from Europe? Oh, wow, that's amazing, 40%. Okay, what about, do we have anyone in an Asiatic country? What about South America? All right. Australians, New Zealanders? We're mostly Europeans and Americans here. Okay, so I know at least in the United States, we have some things that might be a little bit more commonplace than in Europe, like genital mutilation of little boys. It's just systematic. It happens at birth. This codes our brain, this codes our body for suffering, for trauma, right? For this idea that we don't have choices in life, that things are done to us, and that we have to submit. And this happens from our childhood up through our adulthood. How many people in here, show of hands, went to a public school system run by the government? Okay, I'm seeing 85, 90% of the room with their hands up. Okay, how many people went to a private school? A few more, okay, yeah, about 10%. Any homeschooled? Hey, Ben Swan, no wonder you're so cool. That's amazing. He was the only one. So, at least 85% of us here were raised in an environment where the powers that be were programming our brains, right? From a really, really, really young age. What other types of institutions do you believe programmed you in your childhood? Religion? Television? Anything else? Sports, music, family, radio, friends? Yeah. Mickey Mouse, Disney. Have you guys watched Disney movies lately? As a mother, I was like, I'm so excited to show my kids Pocahontas and the music. It's my favorite thing. My daughter sees the murder scene and is hysterically crying at age 2, and I'm like, what have I done? You know, like, oh my gosh, I thought it was this like sweet little movie, but I grew up watching it. It didn't bother me because even though my parents really did shelter my media intake, which I'm grateful for in many ways, I watched musicals and Disney movies. I don't think my parents even understood that Disney movies were so full of violence and like really awful stuff, children being ripped away from their parents. How many Disney movies rip children away from their parents? It's almost every single one, right? So here we are from these little tiny babies being raised in this environment where it's normalized for families to be ripped apart. Okay, so I think the answer might show up differently for Europeans and United States folks here, but how many people grew up in a multi-generation household with grandparents, parents, and grandkids in the home? 1, 2, 3, 4? Very few. So this is something, I married an Italian, and when I went to Italy, I discovered that everybody there lives in multi-generational families. It's incredible. I couldn't believe it. What an amazing system. You've got grandparents to help with the babies. You've got people of working age and capability who can go out and, you know, work the fields or whatever's need to be done to bring home the bacon, right? Beautiful. But we've been ripped apart, right? We're segmented into these little boxes. The parents are at home or they're at work and the kids are at school and everybody's in their proper place. Grandma and grandpa are in the home. We're all segregated. We're all separated. We're all alone. We don't have community. We don't have each other. Then all of a sudden, we're 36 years old, like I am, or older, and you're looking around and you're like, what happened, right? What happened? How, why? We've got everyone's faces covered with masks. We've got people living in total fear. What happened? We were programmed from birth. They've been preparing for this since before anyone here was born. Everybody here was born into a maniacal plan, okay? Literally, we were born in the middle of a story that was written hundreds of years ago. Here's what we're going to do and here's how we're going to do it. And this is how I started to wake up, was listening to the politicians in their hearings, in their legislative writings, and the way they vote and the things they advocated for. And they literally described the plan that they put into place during 2020. It was out there. They made it known. Who here has heard of Agenda 21? Raise your hand, just out of curiosity. Okay, most of the room. Kind of creepy that we're here in 2021, right? And you look at what came down the pipe since then, right? And there's Agenda 30. They tell you the plans. They are long game statists. And what I would like to advocate today is that we become long game anarchists. Okay? And not just anarchy, let's do whatever we want, but loving, authentic, vulnerable, real, strong boundaries, right? Anarchy with love, anarchy with a purpose. What kind of purpose would you like anarchy to serve in your life? Shout some out. Freedom, love, health, connection, community, safety, yes. Does anyone feel like the government keeps them safe? Does anyone in the room, can I get a show of hands, who thinks the government keeps them safe? I had a half hand and he psyched me out. That was funny. Okay, literally no one in here feels that way. And yet, wasn't that supposed to be the purpose? Right? So, I know many of us, we start to learn about the philosophy, we start to talk about the philosophy, but at what point do we start to change our lifestyle to get in alignment with the philosophy, right? In what ways can we be voluntarious when it comes to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Let's start at the bottom. What does anarchy look like when it comes to food and water? Anybody? Garden? Yeah. Garden, barter. Uh-huh. What was that? Rainwater, yes. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick little story. A couple weeks ago, we were in Texas. We knew some cold weather was coming. I live on an intentional community. I've been there for 6 months. I'm loving it. Testing it out, see if we like it. I really, really like it. Long-term community. They're on a well. There's a giant, like 2 huge 250-gallon water storage tanks, right? That rainwater rolls off the roof into it. It's in the little cabin we're staying in. We're on a well. We got a bunch of water saved up, right? We're cool. So what happens when the electricity goes out? Ice. And do you think that well kept working when all the pipes froze? No. What do you think happened to the thousands of gallons of water that were sitting right there that I could touch, that I could see? Were they accessible to me? No. They were frozen solid. Frozen solid. And I'm noticing while we have our 11, 12 minutes of electricity and my phone service comes back on and I'm desperately working on this event. I want you guys to know that these are the kind of conditions that this event was planned in. We were so dedicated to this that when every hour and a half we had 12 minutes of power, I'm downloading messages, emails, and trying to respond as fast as possible while trying to cook my children food. Okay? Absolute chaos, insanity. But we did it. We made it through. Is everyone enjoying the event? Yeah? Thank you for being here. So, what I learned during that time period is that everybody thought it was the government's fault that they didn't have water. And I'm looking out at my frozen rainwater storage and I'm like, where did I mess up? Right? So for me, when it comes to food and water, authentic anarchy means making sure I have food and water when the government's electric grid goes down. Right? And I take responsibility for the fact that my multiple points of failure all failed, kind of like the internet connection here yesterday. That happened here yesterday, right? Take responsibility for that. Now, I could spend all this energy whining and crying and complaining and begging, blah, 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 give me power, give me electricity, give me water, give me food. Or I can take a deep breath. Let's do it. We're breathing today, right? And I can say, where did I screw up? And what can I do better next time? So now I know that in Texas, where I'm usually barefoot and in a tank top, even in the winter during the day, I need to be prepared for things to freeze. That's my responsibility. That is no one else's responsibility. And that is what authentic anarchy is. Period. Period. Living authentically. Moving your actions, your lifestyle into alignment with your philosophy. You don't like the powers that be? Get off their grid. Feel me? So this year, we tried to bring in some new content to Anarchapulco. And I believe it's tomorrow. I need to look at the schedule, but you're going to be hearing from Chad, who is building earth ships. Does anyone here know what an earth ship is? Yeah, some people? Okay, for those of you who don't, super quick version is, they're these dome houses built out of tires packed with soil. And they maintain a stable temperature pretty much year round. And you have to build them differently based on the region, right? Like wet, hot, and cold. These have different needs, right? But essentially, the idea is that you create a building that works with the environment to sustain you. And whose responsibility is it to create that? mine. If I want to live that way, mine. And that's the goal that I have right now. I got off the centralized grid with my house and that I have a converted school bus, but it is not temperature controlled year round. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. If we're not parked in the shade in the summer, that thing is an oven, right? It's just, even with all the AC running, you can't do anything about a metal house full of windows, right? So I'm looking at other options. Well, Chad's going to be building an Earthship here at Secret Garden, and he's going to be doing it for the 4 days after this event. So if any of you want to get some practice learning what it takes to literally get your hands dirty, moving into alignment with authentic anarchy, you've got your opportunity. Now, we wanted to do it at the Marsh Children's Home this year with the children, but because of COVID, they didn't feel comfortable with all of us coming on site. Totally get it, right? So we're going to build it, we're going to record it, and they're going to create a bilingual program to teach the children via video about this type of building. And many of the families who are involved surrounding the orphanage are already really excited about it. So for me, authentic anarchy, it starts at the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You've got to have food, water, and shelter. You have to take care of your basic needs. And as you start moving up, you know, this moves up into the spiritual realm at the top, right? Well, whose responsibility is that? Mine. And yours is your responsibility, right? The whole thing is yours and ours. And authentic anarchy means bringing together people who can do conflict well, who communicate well, who aren't jerks to each other, because authentic anarchy requires community. It is a requirement. We cannot move forward into a new paradigm alone, okay? The rest of the planet has also been raised through this indoctrination system we talked about at the beginning. Everybody else on the planet, basically, except for some small little pockets of culture, have been raised with public school institutions with curricula that are determined by the powers that be. You know, history is rewritten every generation. New stories are told about the same situation year after year after year. And it is up to us to figure out what is real and what is true. And that starts by becoming real and true ourselves. It's really easy to talk the talk. It's really hard to walk the walk. But when we start walking the walk together, it becomes more easy. So what happens when there's a flash freeze and the water goes out? Who delivers water to people's houses? Is it the government? No, not in Austin. It was local communities taking care of each other. People who had power opened their home and cooked food to bring to their neighbors. People who had water opened their doors and gave showers and water to their neighbors. People who had burst pipes had their neighbors come over. And literally, people were digging frozen pipes out of the ground, out from under the snow to get to the leak. And they were doing it in freezing cold without power in their own home to make sure their neighbor's house didn't flood. This is community. This is authentic living. This is what happens when the government gets out of the way. See, their grid goes down and people come together. People get out of their boxes and they come together. And I hate to say it, but we need their systems to fail. Because right now we live in a world where people don't believe in themselves. They don't know that they have the ability to come together in this way. They don't know that they have the ability to meet their own needs. They don't know what that is like because they were raised in a box. Sit at your desk in your assigned seat. Don't talk to your neighbors. Sit in your school bus in your assigned seat. Don't turn around. Don't talk to the neighbor. Sit in your cubicle. Type on your computer. Don't talk to your neighbor. Die in your coffin. Bury in your grave. Don't talk to your neighbor. Because you are nothing more than a tax slave, right? No more. No more. It takes the failure of the old way for a new way to be born. And those of us sitting here who have the knowledge of what is truly happening, who have the knowledge of what's coming down the pipes in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, because we're paying attention, because we're hearing what they're saying, we're reading what they're saying, we're showing up, we're participating, we understand. It is our responsibility to create the long-term plan so that our posterity have a future worth living. Because if we do not get our lifestyles into alignment, do you think anyone else will believe it's possible? It requires you now. Authentic anarchy requires community. It requires active participation in your lifestyle with your neighbors and in meeting the Maslow's hierarchy of needs for yourself, your family, your friends. I had never seen this in action, right? I became an activist, first as an anti-Bush, anti-war activist, thought I was a liberal. Friend told me, no, you're not, you're a libertarian. No, I'm not, I'm a liberal. No, you're really a libertarian. Watch this guy, Ron Paul. Whoa. What's a libertarian? I think I've been one my whole life, right? I think we're born libertarian anarchists. And when I say libertarian, I mean lowercase L. I'm not talking partisan politics here. I'm talking lowercase L. Does everybody here know what a libertarian is? Yeah? And everyone here knows what the non-aggression principle is, right? Mm-hmm. Does anyone not know what the non-aggression principle is, the NAP? Okay. It's self-explanatory, but we'll say it just to be safe. Essentially, my rights end where yours begin. I don't have a right to aggress on you. Period. The end. And if I do, you have a right to do something about it. Right? I think we are all born anarchists. And it requires a lot of time, energy, resources, and efforts to program us to become something else. And we are the products of all that time, all that energy, and all that effort. But here's the thing. Your mind is yours. Your body is yours. And it is possible to undo the programming. How many people in here have heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza? Okay, got some fans in the room. Yeah. There are some amazing books by Dr. Joe Dispenza. My hope and dream is someday to have him here at Anarchapulco. Because here's the deal. For those of you who don't know Dr. Joe Dispenza, I want you to look him up. He was a brain scientist doctor, and he discovered over time that there is a frequency to manifestation. He accidentally discovered this, okay? That when you want something, you truly want something, and you truly believe that it is the right thing for you, you don't just think about it. You don't just set a goal and work toward it. You have to biochemically and hormonally become it. That means you close your eyes, you visualize it, you see what you want, but you feel it. You feel it, and you know that it's there. You know that that's who you are, and you carry that with you throughout your life. I started reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's books when I was living here in Acapulco. I lived here for 6 months with my family, my very interesting family. With my now husband, our 2 kids, and my ex and his girlfriend. We all came down here for 6 months. It was the best 6 months of my life. And I started listening to Joe Dispenza audiobooks. And I got it philosophically, right? He's saying that truly, if there's something you want, stop putting out so much effort and start feeling it inside of your body. And it was hard for me to do. I was faced with great challenges over the past 2 years, ones I don't need to talk about here today, but they were the biggest challenges that a mother can face. An anarchist mother, I'll put it that way, okay? I had to face my fears. And it wasn't until I stopped allowing myself to vibrate at the frequency of fear that things started to change. It wasn't until I decided, no, really, I not only own my mind and my body, but I own my future. I own my destiny. And I am going to start taking control of the way I feel, the way I think, the way I talk, the way I interact with other people. I started setting very strong boundaries, and I want you to know I set them around Anarchapulco. You want to know why the vibe is so high this year? Because we're shining so bright that nothing else can get in. Literally, nothing else can get in. These little snaky things pop up, and it's like, hi, bye. That's all the energy it gets. We have literally refused to vibrate on any frequency other than breathe. And look where we are. Okay? We did this in 3.5 months. We brought this together. And I was sitting down and I was doing the numbers and I was doing the math last night when I was laying down trying to sleep. And I want you guys to know that not only do we have 200 people here on site at this venue, but there are hundreds of people at Float Fest in Texas right now, gathering outside. There are children playing and loving life as if the whole past year never happened. There are watch parties taking place all across the globe. And we've been continuing to sell tickets, and people have been continuing to show up here. People have been continuing to show up at our watch party in Acapulco. People have been continuing to show up at Float Fest. Last night when I went to bed, we had 1,300 people gathering across the globe in unison, mask-free, loving life. Yes. And that number has grown today. That number has grown, okay? All you have to do is decide who you want to be, and it is so. Yes. It is so. And when you notice, ooh, I didn't like that, you say, I didn't like that, I didn't mean to do that, I'm trying to be different, and you start correcting it. And there is something beautiful about radical self-ownership. Something beautiful about it. Do you know how many times I have told people here at this event I fucked up? And it feels so good to say. I don't have to hide it or cover up or like, oh my gosh, they're gonna be so mad at me. Like, fine, if you're gonna be mad at me, that's you, because I'm not mad. I know I'm an imperfect human being. I know it. I know it. But I'm not gonna treat you poorly because of that. And if you decide to treat me poorly, that's on you, homie. Go vibe with people who treat each other poorly, because this community, not about that. Nope, 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 no. This community is not about that. Maybe one day we were, and that's why we stayed stuck. That is why we stayed stuck. You want to know why anarchy and liberty haven't won yet? Me, you. It is our responsibility. Anarchy would already be the status quo if we were living authentic anarchy. Because when you live authentic anarchy, you shine so bright that nothing else can influence your life. When you live authentic anarchy, you don't have to convince anyone of anything. You don't have to chase people down with signs and banners on overpasses, which was great and fun and exciting and helped me to wake up. But that was an angry time of my life. And I was knocking on doors and people were spitting at me. You know, like, please vote for Ron Paul, I love him, I promise it'll be amazing. You change, you do something, you vote different. You, no, me. What can I do different? Well, the first thing I'm gonna do is stop knocking on doors for politicians. I mean, if all the resources I had put into political campaigns had gone into building my authentic anarchist lifestyle, could you imagine where we would all be right now? Right? We have to become. We have to be. We cannot talk about. We cannot point fingers to. We cannot project into the future. We have to now. We have to breathe authentic anarchy. Let's do it. You don't want cops beating people up? Learn how to deal with conflict. You don't want the government arbitrating your divorce? John Bush, we need to learn how to deal with conflict. This is our responsibility. The government exists because anarchists are getting divorced through the state. That's why the government exists. If we want to create freedom in our lifetime and for our children, it is our responsibility. And I take ownership for my fear-based decisions of the past, and I will never participate in them again because I have a taste of authentic freedom, true freedom. And this is the state I've been existing in. I don't know what happened. It was like 2 months ago, January. And that's it. I'm done with the bullshit. I have no time, no energy for status-ass motherfuckers, even those who exist in the anarchist community, okay? Because if you got a status tyrant within that you haven't dealt with yourself, you are not an anarchist. That is why spirituality is an important part of Anarchapulco. That is why health and wellness are important parts of Anarchapulco. Because once you start to realize it's the government, and then, the state government. I see now the federal government's just too big, too corrupt. We're gonna go to the state government. Oh, they're too big, let's go to the city council. Oh, also corrupt. Where do we go? My neighborhood, the homeowners association, it's their fault. Oh, wait, what's happening behind closed doors? Oh, there's a status in my house, and oh, look in the mirror, it's me. Ah, okay, that is really the process of waking up and figuring out how to be authentic anarchy. Is when you realize that you're the statist. It's you. You're not free because you were raised in a mind-controlled society, and it's time for you to take responsibility for your own brain, for the words you speak, and for the actions that you take. And until you do, this world will not be free. It's more than starting at home. It's starting at the soul. And that is why I participate with Anarchapulco. That is why I went from a speaker in 2018 to a volunteer in 2019 to the co-producer of 2020, and now I'm running the event. You want to know why? Because this event is full of evolving people who are not the same as they were 4 years ago. If you met me 4 years ago, you would not probably recognize the same person. If you met me 12 years ago, oh, Lordy, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. But you know what? If you look back, go down the Cat Bleish Google rabbit hole, and you're gonna see an acne-covered, malnourished, angry child. And you wanna know why I was rebelling against the state? Because I didn't understand. I didn't understand that sovereignty came from me. I was begging, I was pleading, I was demanding. I didn't know that it was me. And the whole time I was exerting all of that energy trying to get other people to change. And yet the greatest freedom that I have found in my life is through changing myself. I don't care how other people treat me anymore, because if you want access to my life, you're gonna be nice to me even when I make a mistake. That's how that's gonna work. And if you want access to Anarchapulco, you're gonna be nice to Anarchapulco even when we make a mistake. You want to speak on this stage, you're going to treat the organizers with respect. You want to walk into this venue, you're going to treat this space with respect. Okay? We need strong boundaries. We need to raise our standards, and I believe that that is what Anarchapulco has done this year. We raised the bar. Look around. Look around. You guys are amazing. I'm not perfect, I never will be. But no one can say I'm inauthentic. You get the raw deal here, baby. This is all me. And I want the authentic you because it's the only way we can build a free society. Now, before I go, I want to say a housekeeping thing. Okay. Things changed with the shuttles, with the boat tonight. We're going to shuttle you guys to the party, okay? You got to pay your cab home. These drivers have been driving shuttles for 12 hours today. They're cut off at 7. They are going to give a flat rate back to Bonefill for 300 pesos. So bring 300 pesos with you when you get on the shuttle. If you don't have one, ask nicely. I bet the shuttle driver will stop at Selecto and let you get money out of the ATM on the way up, because you're going to need that for your ride home, okay? So these drivers, they're working 12 hours a day. Please thank them. They're independent agorists. Literally, they are agorists. Yes. I want to say a 20-minute drive. It's up the mountain. If you went to the party 2 nights ago, it's across down the street. It's very close to La Cima. Okay? Yes.
So will they be available if you pay them to take us to like the Princess or something like that?
Yes, you can go back to the Princess for sure.
They'll be up there.
They will be up there waiting. They'll have the Anarchapulco logo on the side, and you're just going to pay for your ride back. Yes. And it'll be per vehicle. That's per vehicle. So you can pile in for that rate. At the party for alcohol and booze, yes, that they are not agorists. It's a real venue. Not that agorist venues aren't real, but it's a venue, and we're so grateful they opened it up at the last minute. They are the same people who own Hannah Sun Club, so we owe them a big thank you. We let them know what was going on, and they said, "Oh, we got a place for you. Let me know." I let him know 20 minutes later, and he said, "Open." Also, one last thing. If you guys are sick of the speeches, and those for you on the virtual feed who might be at a party here in Acapulco, Hannah Sun Club is going to open early for us on Thursday. So if you're wanting to go and chill at their cool little club there's all these pools and sunning decks and all these things, you can go early. And I think that probably mostly applies to the watch party people in Acapulco or the Agorapulco people who aren't doing either. And we will similarly shuttle you to that party, and the cabs will wait, and you'll pay your cab back, okay? Because I cannot ask them to work longer than 7 to 7. They're really going hard in the paint here for us. And I will, at some point, figure out the transportation for Friday. But we got to find out what time that cruise is first. So give me a minute. Anyway, thank you guys. I'm so grateful. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Wow, wasn't that incredible? Give her another hand. It was like a yeah, kick down the door. Yeah, get out of my way, statist. And the statist is me. All right, I think we have what's happening? Oh, the chair. Okay, we have 2 minutes officially until we hit our 5 o'clock break, at which time, this isn't for you people, I'm sorry. This is for the people who are watching. And then we'll take Anarchast. We'll take immediately at 5 o'clock, right? They take over? So they take over. So if you're watching on the stream, enjoy it. That's for you, because all the people here are going to go to a party tonight. All right? So you guys are all set? You guys are ready to go? We appreciate you guys. We start again tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., and we'll run through the day. And you want to make sure you're here tomorrow afternoon. The last session is going to be phenomenal from what I've been told. So you want to be here for that. All right. It's me. So, all right. See, thanks. We appreciate you guys. Thanks. Have a great afternoon or evening, and be safe tonight and have fun.